Hey guys, what's up, it's iFlynn here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to get a lot of neural sensors pretty quickly and efficiently. Alright guys, welcome to today's video, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at how to get neural sensors basically the fastest way possible. There's a lot of way to get neural sensors in this game. It's just not that, every single way to get neural sensors is the best way. And obviously, if you're going to be spending your time grinding for a particular resource, you want to be doing it as fast as possible. So let's talk about the loadout that we're going to be going in with first. I know a lot of you guys who are looking for neural sensors probably would only have something like Excalibur, Vault, or Mag, which, that's totally fine. I'll show you loadouts for them as well. But if you're a little bit more advanced in the game and you just want to stock up on neural sensors, then this is the build that I would be going with. So Nova Prime, Sancti Tigris, just the one hit the boss that we're going to be killing. Astiletto Prime because it's pretty cool, and then Orphos Prime just to clear every move of enemies pretty fast. And obviously you can bring whatever companion you want. Realistically though, you don't have to bring all this stuff. Just bring Nova Prime to make the boss fight just a little bit easier on you, because easy is better, right? So the boss fight that we're going to be doing is versus Alad V on Jupiter, and the reason that we're going to be doing this is because he can drop a lot of neural sensors. Obviously, if you want to get a lot of neural sensors, what you can do is you can buy a resource booster or a resource drop chance booster and get more of the rare resources that way. So that way you'd be going and you could get either 2 or 4 neural sensors a time for every kill, and then obviously you minimize your time grinding in the game. Obviously that would cost platinum or sometimes ducats if you're buying it from the Void Trader if he has them on that particular day. But yeah, I definitely do recommend doing this with a resource booster because it just makes it a lot easier on yourself, and obviously not grinding as much. So let's just go ahead, jump into the mission. So Alad V is a very easy boss fight, especially with Nova. I think Nova is probably one of the best frames in the game in terms of just making boss fights super easy, because she can basically slow the entire battlefield. It's pretty crazy. And then obviously you get that bonus damage versus the enemies that are slowed as well. You have some pretty damn damaging abilities with Nova, so it's really no big deal. What you want to be doing versus this boss fight though is you want to be killing Alad V first, and then he's going to go into a down state, and that's going to leave his little pet Zanuka very vulnerable. So we're not at the boss fight just yet, but whenever we do get there, you guys will see what I mean. So it's a relatively quick mission. Obviously you guys could probably run through it a lot faster than I am. It's just I'm trying not to make a lot of noise because my microphone's relatively close to my keyboard, and I don't want to necessarily like rip your guys' ears with my keyboard today. So just go ahead, skip the cinematic, hit your M prime while you're in midair. I'll show you guys a build, and then you want to be going over here and just kind of shooting Alad V in the face, and then he's going to go into his down state, and you want to look for his pet and just blast that, and then the neural sensors, if you got any, will drop from his body. And you see right there we just got 4 neural sensors, so that's pretty good. Pretty sure I have a booster on, not too sure if I do. And all you want to do is just go ahead and keep on rerunning that mission, and that is the fastest way to get neural sensors. Obviously you can go ahead, you can do a defense mission, you can do a survival mission, you can bring Necros, you can bring Hydroid, Atlas, or Ivara with all of their sort of drop chance mods, the augment mods that they have. Put those there on. Obviously Necros doesn't have one because it's an ability that's built into him, but all the other frames have augments which will increase the percentage to drop rare resources or whatever. It basically just re-rules the tables for you if you didn't get what you want the first time, not necessarily meaning that you're going to get a neural sensor from said kill. But yeah, so the reason that this is such an efficient neural sensor farm is because you're going to get these Valkyrie parts on top, which if you're a new player, you're going to be able to sell those for credits, and credits is a big problem, especially in the early game, because you need credits to sort of do everything in this game. So credits, basically there's no downside to getting credits. So the other frames that you guys would have if you are going against Alad V very early on, you would have either Excalibur, Vault, or Mag, and I think probably Excalibur is one of the easiest to take him down with, because all you really have to do is make an Exalted Blade build, and an Exalted Blade build is basically a build which has these melee mods on. You don't have to copy it exactly, but somewhere around these lines. So it'll be Prime Pressure Point. It's basically a crit build for your melee weapon, so if you want to go ahead and pause the video and copy this here, or try to mimic it in some way, just make sure you have the appropriate elements on, so you can either go with corrosive and fire or corrosive and cold or magnetic and toxin, and then that would work for you. So just try to mimic this build as much as you can. Obviously just throw on anything which basically gives you crit, and then you should be good to go, especially early on, because you're not going to have every single one of these mods. And then for your Excalibur, you want to try to mimic this as close as possible. You want to have a lot of efficiency on, and you want to have a lot of duration on, and then this is going to allow you to stay in your Exalted Blade ability for a lot longer and basically just mow down Alad V and his Sanuka Hunter, right? So, you know, it's a pretty good build. It's a little bit tanky build as well, because you have the Exalted Blade blocking the bullets away, and you know, you'll just kill them pretty fast because the DPS of Exalted Blade is pretty high. And then moving on, if we go ahead and take a look at Vault. Now Vault is basically just a speedrunner, but you can make like a crowd control effect with him, so you want to be making like a range build with a strength sort of built into it as well. So you'd be throwing on your energy siphon, and you'd be throwing on something like, you know, your prime continuity right here, and then maybe you want to have full efficiency so you can spam the ability a little bit. So we'd be going with fleeting expertise right there, and we'd throw on a streamline right here. Obviously these are one from the top because your efficiency cap's out at 75%. This gives you 25, this gives you 50, 25 plus 50 gives you 75. That's pretty obvious. Going on, we want to have a defensive mod on. Go ahead, throw that on there. We want to increase our range so we can CC a lot of the enemies around us. So we'd be throwing on something like stretch, maybe taking vitality off, and then throwing on your overextended. But even at that, then you need to invest a little bit into your power strength, so that the enemies don't just become like un-CC'd pretty quickly. So you throw on something like intensify. You can throw on your fleeting expertise there, and you can obviously throw on like something like flow or prime flow if you happen to own it. You can take fleeting expertise off if you so please to have more duration on, or you can just throw on something like constitution or something of the sort. I'm going to go ahead and throw on constitution to keep them crowd control for a little bit longer, and then throw on something like let's say Pyro Drift, so they stay crowd control for a little bit longer, because your CC with Vault has a cap based on the amount of health damage it does, so that's why you have to have a little bit of strength on there to sort of make it so that they don't just get CC'd and then un-CC'd, because you have a little small window where you can't necessarily hit your fourth ability to crowd control them. So just make sure you have a lot of efficiency, a lot of range, and a decent amount of strength, and a decent amount of duration, and you should be good to go. His fourth ability takes from all statistics right there, so it's worth sort of investing into. So this is just kind of the sort of build that I would run. Obviously it's not a perfect build, but you know, you can go ahead and run that there. And then finally with Mag, you can really do anything. My Mag Prime isn't necessarily modded the best, because she's modded for basically whenever she was still very overpowered with her second ability. Not too sure if I've taken a look at her since then. She's still a very good frame, definitely, but you want to be modding more for duration and power strength. That's really what you want to be modding for here. So my duration right now is at 95%. That's not really that good. So what I would do, I'd take off something like maybe fleeting expertise and throw on something like constitution if I don't already have it on, and that would increase my duration and sort of just strip away all of the armor or shields from the enemies and all that good stuff. So it's more or less just investing into her, I believe it's called Magnetize now. Let's see what it's called. Yeah, Magnetize, this here ability right here. So, you know, that'll, you know, basically create a little small explosion and deal damage to the enemies and all that good stuff. Magnetize it's the one where you put a bubble around them, you shoot in to that bubble, and then it will multiply your damage, and then it does a big explosion. So it's a pretty good ability. Or you can go for Polarize, which will basically emit like an energy thing around you, and it will expand kind of like Nova's, and basically damage the enemies instead of slowing them. So in that regard, I'll go ahead and show you guys Nova's build as well. If you happen to have Nova, and this is just a very standard Nova Prime build, you want to be modding for 145% power strength, very specific there, because anything over is basically diminishing returns. You don't really get anything from it. You don't need power range at all. You need maximum power efficiency and maximum duration, and then there you go. That's your Nova build. Pretty straightforward, pretty awesome build, because you can just go in, you can spam your ultimate ability, and they're basically like, what, they're completely slowed. They can't touch you, and you get that awesome sort of damage boost as well from the from the ability. And then last but not least, let's talk about our weapons. So you can either go with magnetic or toxin damage, which is what I was running in my Sanctity Tigris there, or you can go with corrosive and fire or corrosive and cold. So basically all you have to do is get whatever weapon it is that you want to be using. So let's say if it's the Soma Prime or the regular Soma, for example, which is something that, you know, you should be looking at as a newer player, because it teaches you sort of the ropes of modding, I guess, because it shows you how to do a basic crit build. So let's go ahead and remove Shred. So this is very easy to understand. We have our Vital Sense and Point Strike for a crit, chance and damage. Then we have these free mods right here for our main damage, Suresh and Heavy Calamari Split Chamber. And then you want to throw on your elements. So let's say, for example, we wanted to build corrosive damage. We would go ahead and throw on Infected Clip and Stormbringer. That gives us our corrosive. Let's say we wanted to build our magnetic damage. Obviously, we can't do it here because my polarities are kind of mixed up. But if I were to not put a mod on here, we'd throw on Cryo Rounds and Stormbringer, and that will give us magnetic damage. So very simplistic, very straightforward. It just depends on what you want to do, really. So that is pretty much it. So just make sure you're running the right element, make sure you're building your weapon right, and then you should be good to go. And that's all you really have to know about how to farm neural sensors in Warframe. I guess thank you guys for watching this video. Hit subscribe if you want more Warframe content. Hit like if you enjoyed the video and it helped you out. And I'll see you guys next time.